99% of kids who are entering high school are not meeting benchmark in math.
When we were thinking about what experiences we could give to kids around math.
PIL, which actually stands for Portland Interscholastic League, they came up with Math Trajectory Program, asked us to partner.
Marshall had reached out and said to me, last year, when the pandemic started, we had got a grant to start a program to that feeds the Roosevelt, which is North Portland, and Madison, which is Northeast Portland, and also serves the Jefferson cluster of schools, so are predominantly black neighborhoods of Portland, to work on math.
Andersen Construction and PIL Athletics have formed a collaborative partnership to better the student and the next group of young professionals.
We want kids to see math in practice, and I think construction is one of the best ways to do that.
Mathematics obviously are the cornerstone for most of the educational foundations that we all have. And if you've got a great math foundation that also connects with the actual real world, then you can make correlations as a youth that will help you think more critically about the problems that you have to solve in the future. So solving problems today helps you solve problems tomorrow.
What we're going to do is we're going to ask a team of people from Andersen to go and work with the students over the 5 weeks of the trajectory program. They're going to outline a problem, which is homelessness facing our city. I took it from understanding what the issues facing our city are, homelessness, how design impacts that, why math is important in developing that, and then the actual execution and development.
Which ultimately came to us taking what they've learned through the summertime, building tiny homes for the homeless, having a build day project. It's a feel-good story within itself. There's a learning component obviously to it. And again, not saying that this is going to close the gap, but hopefully these small steps could be a conduit to some other GCs jumping in and getting them on board and understanding some of the gaps that we're facing and some of the barriers that's in front of our kids. The small steps that we're taking here with Andersen is only to help the school system, to help the teachers, to be an additive to what already exists, and hopefully we can kind of close these gaps.
This particular group of kids hasn't done well in math as a collective. So we wanted to give them as many opportunities to touch math.
So, I mean, it's the summertime, so who wants to spend summer doing just math all the time? So you got to kind of be innovative, you got to be creative.
You got to know how to attend to, everybody's needs, attend to, whatever somebody may be struggling with. How do you identify that? I think those are just some of the challenges because every kid is on a different level.
So we have several of our senior PMs, project managers that are actually going to these schools, spending time with these kids.
Things have been going really well. We have a great group of kids, a great group of student workers. Our staff has been amazing, both the classroom teachers as well as the coaches.
This was a super unique project because we got to work with a lot of different people in Andersen. So we had Sam and Will and Katie and Pete all working as teachers.
I watched how it was hands-on to get students to do certain things that they probably wouldn't have done.
To actually carve out some time to actually invest and spend with these kids speaks to the type of people that we have here at Andersen.
One of the biggest things that we've got in front of us as an industry is a lack of diverse populations coming into the pipeline.
We want to be an organization that is representative of our communities as a whole. We want to change.
So knowing that this is a diverse group of people and being a part of that, getting them excited about architecture and construction and engineering, and maybe this becomes the moment where they're like, hey, I want to be a part of that.
Last week when they came out and they visited, I have text messages from the coaches going, man, the kids thought it was going to be boring. They actually had a great time. And they want to go back, right? I'm like, well, they are going back next week.
Today was the epic day of the entire event.
Build Day will be, you remember Field Day when you were in middle school? Everybody remembers Field Day. Field Day is pretty much the end of the school year. You're getting ready for summer, but before you go, Let's have some activities. We might have some wheelbarrow races. We might have some relays, do a few things. Build day will be something similar to that where we'll have a DJ, we'll have food, we'll have everything interactive, we'll have the buses coming in, and we'll be in our warehouse in the back, and we'll actually be building.
We've got 16 different team captains. They're coming from our different regions.
I saw every kid engaged. I think for some kids, this is the first time they ever had a hammer. Certainly first time they ever used a measuring instrument.
Well, it's incredible to watch youth participate in something. I just wish it was something like this available when I was their age. But it also gives them an opportunity to aspire to something other than maybe video games or sports. It gives them a foundation to maybe look back on this experience and say, this is something that I'd like to do well into the future.
Nothing makes me happier than what happened today. My favorite part is seeing the kids. Like, it's just so much fun. They have so much energy. I'm also really excited that at the end of the day, we'll be donating these sleeping pods to a local village. It just speaks to our commitment to service in the community, and I'm really glad that these middle schoolers got to be a part of that too.
They have developed themselves, and they get to walk away and say, I helped design and build a tiny house that somebody then gets to live in.
And hopefully, I think at the end of the day, hopefully the students grab onto that. They know that they're doing something meaningful for somebody else, and maybe that becomes something that they carry forward in the way that they operate. So hopefully that's a teaching moment that's bigger than math for them as well.
Probably kind of eye-opening especially for the young girls to see like, oh, there are women in construction, there's women in design, if there are other just avenues you can pursue and still be part of this industry.
I'm inspired and continuously see Andersen take steps that are meaningful in the community to help kids progress and also help adults look at the examples that the kids can set.
I think it's a win-win for both. It's a win-win really for the students. They get a chance to meet professionals in different areas, and they've been exposed to something they probably wouldn't be exposed to.
Yeah, I think it's beautiful. I think it's an incredible experience. I think for them to see something outside of what we consider the norm, right? Obviously, when you think about construction, we think about the people that's outside building the buildings, but it's so much deeper than that. My heart and soul is in this. I was once them, somebody believed in me, somebody gave me those leadership skills, somebody gave me those life skills. A lot of these kids are going through real life outside of here. Creating those relationships and those bonds, creates just a lifetime of memories, and it just helps them just grow into what I want them to be, just good humans and just good people in the world.
A true measure of a person is not how well they live, but how well others live because of them. So I think throwing the rope back over and trying to bring others across is the most paramount thing that we could possibly do.
People have to want to do something different for change to be a reality. And my hope is that this effort becomes the pilot project that then inspires us to continue to do this, which we will for this trajectory program with Marshall and the PIL. But other industries can start to engage at the same level. So much of what we can do to help shape and make our communities better is by showing them that there is an opportunity to do something bigger than what you've ever done before. This beautiful byproduct then became, well, now all of a sudden these kids are seeing construction. They get to go, this is awesome. I get to do something. I got to help shape and change the community. And we're capturing them at that age where they can make a decision still, where they can say, I can do this.